Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of ZB's Horsepower Talk. As always, I'm ZB Zach Brown, joined with me, as always, former four-time sprint car crew chief mechanic, my dad, Jeff Brown. We have a lot to go over, a lot of drama that has shaken up in NASCAR from Indianapolis as they have a few weeks off for the Olympic break. A lot of dirt racing still in action this week. NHRA is back again this week for back-to-back weeks. We'll talk about last week. We'll talk about the IndyCar action last week. They're also on a little bit of a hiatus for Olympics because they're on NBC. Let's dive right into NASCAR at Indianapolis. Let's talk about the Brickyard 400, the big one. Kyle Larson gets another crown jewel, and he just needs one more crown jewel in NASCAR to collect all of them, the whole infinity gauntlet, if you will. He just needs the illustrious Daytona 500, and he just knocks off another one. He kisses the bricks finally after a dramatic last restart slash cautions and not cautions, and overall, the restarts made it a pretty good race. It wasn't as spread out as Pocono was either.
No, and Larson kisses the bricks. Caitlin Larson shotguns a beer on the bricks. All's good in the world. But there's a lot of people whining about the restart. And to be honest, when Kesla and this is the sort of way that Indy is laid out, where the pace car comes off a pit road, you're right in the middle of the straightaway, and this would be Daytona or Talladega. You're in the tri-oval. There would have been time to communicate with Blaney or whatever what's going on. So I can see the confusion on that. And honestly, they probably should have added a lap and re-chose. But in the rule book, it just moves up. Blaney becomes the control car, and according to the data, everybody's saying Larson jumped. They fired off at the exact same time.
Yeah, and I've seen it way more egregious than just that simple. I mean,
Yeah.
they were side by side going into one, but Larson had the preferred lane. That's where Blaney really had the issue. He didn't really talk about the whole him being the control car and then Larson jumping it or anything. It was more that he wanted the inside and he knew he was getting screwed over when he had the outside. There's no way you can win, even though somehow, well, Burton was probably told to say this, but he's like, it is actually preferred to be the outside.
Yeah, I don't
No,
know why he said that. I
I'm
heard
like,
that too.
Burton,
I
you
was
have
like, are
never
you kidding
wanted,
me?
you never won the Brickyard, so I don't even want to, you don't know how. No, just no. I don't understand that logic. But the other drama that happened was, I think it was Ryan Preece spun out after turn two, and NASCAR never threw a caution. He could not get rolling at any point, even coming off of four before they took the white. Do you think they should have thrown that yellow to have another restart?
You know, Unfortunately, lap 20 or 30 in that race, they throw the yellow. Being that, I don't know, there was 12 or 15 cars that probably had no gas left. They're already run long over their TV time, and they didn't want another Nashville where they just kept crashing on the restarts, because that's what Indy was turning into. Yeah, NASCAR was getting that race over. It didn't matter who was in the lead. They were getting that to the white flag before they threw the yellow.
Yeah, it was there. There was just a lot of fun
Yeah,
drama.
to be honest, yeah, it should have been a caution. Absolutely.
NASCAR just needs to stay consistent with it. You can't just pick and choose what you. And NASCAR has this year especially so inconsistent with calls that they make, with penalties that they make. And I mean, that's probably been NASCAR since the beginning of time. It's still human error that you're going to have, and then you're going to have people bitching and complaining that Hendrick was paying off. Did they realize the owner of Ryan Blaney's car? Like, he was the owner of Indianapolis too, so it's not like, I don't think anything was necessarily rigged. I'm with you there. They just wanted the race to end. I'm still more about I love Larson winning, don't get me wrong, but I'm about the rules. And if a car can't get fired, refired, can't get back up to speed, the caution has to be thrown, and they have to make that judgment call before that white flag drops. I know they wanted to avoid that, but you've still got to be consistent with it. You can't just choose because of what drama happened in Nashville. You can't just 2 weeks later change it. That's an off-season thing. You can't just change something completely like that. So it might be something different here 3 weeks that we're talking about.
Right.
It's just one of those deals, and NASCAR has to.
Now, also, how much of it was the whole deal with Biden, dropping out of the race because that's what they knocked it off NBC for that. They were running long as it is, having that red flag. NASCAR was just getting they were getting that race over. So it could even have been from the TV saying, "Hey, look, we got this has got to end. We can't have any more."
Well, I'm going to put this on the screen. This was somebody, Kelly Crandall, that was talking about Ryan Blaney, and then Larson responded to it, probably drunk. But this is why you don't drunk Twitter, because now you stir up stuff. So Ryan, this will be on the screen for you guys. But Ryan Blaney is furious on the 12 radio about the race restarting when Brad Keselowski ran out of gas and Kyle Larson moved to the front row. He says NASCAR just gave the race to Larson, fucking golden boy. And then Larson has the little cool emoji with the sunglasses. Thanks, NASCAR. So that was definitely a drunk reply. Uh, and people are going to take that way too seriously because that's clearly Larson just trying to be funny or whatever. And
Yeah.
100% was not sober when that was going on. Promise that didn't
Oh,
happen.
I'm sure it wasn't.
But you got to realize what NASCAR, they kind of screwed over Kyle Larson for that entire year too. It's not like Larson, he are buddy buddies, and it's not.
Yeah.
He's still probably on their short leash, even though he's done more for the sport than anybody has in the past 2 decades now. But yeah, that really wraps it up for the Cup Series. Riley Herbst had a dramatic win in the Xfinity. I did not think any chance.
He was fast. I
I
thought no
didn't think
way
there
he's
was
going to win that
any
race.
possible chance that Riley Herbst was first of all to beat Cole Custer, and then Cole Custer get passed by Almirola, and then Herbst gets behind Almirola. I'm like, well, there it goes again. And Herbst
Yeah.
did everything right, hit the corners right, arced in the perfect way. And that's how Larson actually made a bunch of passes on Sunday too. You could
Yeah.
tell he was arcing it different. It seemed
Well,
more like an IndyCar arc.
I was going to say, if you watched how Larson was passing, he passed those guys at the end of the straightaways a lot like the IndyCar
Yeah, it was a
guys
lot
would
different than what a
pass,
lot of people were
and
trying to
nobody
make
else
for.
was doing it that way. But yeah, but with Riley Herbst, they have that restart, go three wide, Eric Almirola in the Joe Gibbs 20 car out in front. I thought that's it. It is over. And son of a bitch, if he didn't run him down,
And
past him, they all raced clean. I mean, that
I
was
don't know how old.
I mean, good for Riley Herbst. You
I
don't
don't know
really
how.
think
I don't know
about
how
him as
old. I don't know how old Riley is. I think he looks like he's 12.
he don't look very old. No.
He's got to be 18, 19 years old. I mean, that was an impressive win to beat those veterans at Indianapolis like that.
Yep, for
That
sure.
shows he's got a lot of talent. And just touching on the truck series as well, it actually wasn't a terrible race in the truck series. I was one spot off. Christian Eckes got second. Ty Majeski gets the win at IRP. Not 10 million cautions like we expected. A lot of side by side throughout the race. There
Yeah,
was
IRP's a good track.
and it was really neat. They raced the outside quite a lot, and it
Yeah.
actually builds a lot of speed. That's really interesting. But there were multiple grooves. It's a good little fun track, definitely for sure. All right, well, let's just real quick give our power rankings. Then we're gonna jump into NHRA because that's the next one we have to preview. It's the only asphalt we are previewing this week. Everybody else is off. So power rankings, we probably have the same number one. Probably very similar list that we both have, but number five, moving back into the power rankings, and I have Bowman falling out, but I have Christopher Bell at number five. At number four, I have Chase Elliott. At number three, moving down 2 spots for me was Denny Hamlin. Just had a DNF. Just had some unfortunate. He was fast, but had some. A lot of people had some misfortune at the end. Number two came very close to winning, bump him up one. Ryan Blaney's at number two, and number one, the winner of the Brickyard 400, heading into the big break. I've got Kyle Larson.
Yeah, we're pretty close. So on mine, I have number five. I have Chase Elliott down 2 spots at number five. Falling out this week is Christopher Bell. Moving into number 4 spot is Tyler Reddick. That thing has been fast. Number three, just like you, Denny Hamlin down 2 spots. Number three, Ryan Blaney. I have him at same at number two, and up 3 spots from number four from last week. I do have Kyle Larson at number one.
Yeah, Larson was very impressive passing those cars, though. That thing was a freaking
Yeah,
rocket ship. I was hoping there wouldn't
restarted
even.
23rd with 20 laps to go or something like that. And
I was hoping there wouldn't even be a caution at the end because I wanted to see how he was going to pass those two cars, which he was going to. There's no way Brad was going to make it on fuel. If Brad made it on fuel, he's going to go down as the greatest fuel saver in the history
yeah,
of anything. It's close, but they it was like 10 laps further than Steve Letarte even figured in. So
yeah.
all
Because
right, well, that
I forget who it was. Christopher Bell, which was on the same strategy as Blaney, ran out after taking the checkered flag. So,
yeah.
another green white checkered, there was going to be 10, 15 cars that did not
I
that
think
had to
Larson
stop.
probably had one or maybe two green white checkers left as
Yeah.
well.
He had another 10 laps on Blaney, I think. So something like that.
But
So
the impressive run, I think everybody's definitely got to give a shout out to is Bubba Wallace. He's been a rocket ship these last few weeks. So taking this break is not very good for him. You want to keep that momentum rolling if you have that.
yeah.
I think overall this is
The other cars that have been actually kind of impressive was Zane Smith and Carson Hocevar. Sometimes
yeah,
they don't get the finishes
they've been
necessarily,
fast.
but the cars have been fast and running up front for
Yeah, yeah.
probably an underfunded, understaffed team compared to the big guys for sure.
Definitely. Well, NASCAR's off until the middle of August when they go back to Richmond, and they'll actually be doing the two sets of tires, the softer and the harder tires. So we'll see how that transpires at Richmond. Can't make it much of a worse race because Richmond's been a little bit of a snoozer lately. So hopefully that adds some action to it when they come back.
Well,
Much deserved break
hopefully,
for NASCAR, though.
yeah, hopefully it's not like the All Star race where the soft tires just did not wear out. If you're going to run the soft tires on, they have to give up.
I think they will at Richmond. It's a the surface is a lot rougher than the newly
Yeah,
paved Wilkesboro, so I think it could potentially work. Hope fingers
they need to
crossed.
be like a 10, 15 lap tire. So you gotta have your strategy, but like, all right, here's what's going on. Here's how we're going to try to do this or what. So just running the whole race like they did the All Star race, that's stupid,
Yeah,
pointless to have them.
and well, it is a night race if I'm not mistaken, so it
Yeah.
should be pretty interesting getting into the last leg of the regular season. So it's about to heat up, getting into the playoffs. NHRA, they just finished up in Seattle. They'll be racing at Sonoma this week. But Steve Torrance gets his first win in a calendar year. He won last year at Seattle, gets back into the win column here at Seattle once again. Austin Prock is on fire as a rookie funny car driver. He's not a rookie, but he's a rookie funny car driver, and definitely the favorite to win the funny car championship now. The biggest upset that happened the entire weekend was the motorcycle. After 11 wins in a row, Gage Herrera goes down. Chase Van Sant gets the win over him. Young kid, very, very impressive
Yeah.
run
I
that he
mean,
made.
he beat him on the tree and outran him. So it wasn't like you know, he it wasn't like he got a red light or something like that when he took it to him and beat him.
And another big fan favorite in the pro stocks, Jed Coughlin gets a win in pro stock over Dallas Glenn. So
But
now they're
back
adding
to
those. But
Austin
now,
Prock. Is it weird he's better in the funny car than he was in the top fuel car?
not
Now,
really,
to be fair, he probably has the best mechanic in his dad,
and probably the best equipment.
Jimmy Prock too. But I mean, just our Force's funny cars just that much better.
At this point, it
Or
seems that
because
way.
I mean, his dragsters are Schumacher's dragster, says no. But I think Force probably builds his own funny car chassis.
Yeah, and it helps when they have a little bit extra motivation to do good this year
Yeah,
with John
but
Force.
he was good in it all year, even before that. So
Yeah, four wins. Definitely the favorite to win the championship now. There's no doubt.
yeah,
And
when that countdown goes back, it's kind of a shame they get reset and he'll lose that big point lead and only be 30, 40 points ahead of the next place car. So
but if
that's
you're going to win the
one
championship,
race.
you better show up at the end too. And if
Yeah, for sure.
you keep consistent the way you have been, you'll have a good shot at it. Now, pro stock now it's like throw Jag in the mix to win these races
Throw
now.
Jag, throw Troy. I mean, Aaron Stanfield, Dallas Glenn, Erica.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, and now apparently pro stock motorcycle. There's a person that can contend with Gage Herrera. I don't foresee it happening too often, but
Yeah, that
uh,
was, I thought if anybody beat him was I don't remember his teammate's name. I thought, okay, you'd think that would be the one that could probably take him
Eddie
down, but
Krawick
no.
or
Krawick doesn't race anymore.
or is it the other one? Is it the one that used to race a Harley as well?
I
I'm
don't know
thinking.
if he did or not. I think he's actually a rookie in the thing, but I can't remember his
Oh,
name. But it's it's
well,
the
they go
other
from
Vance and Han Suzuki. So
from the Pacific Northwest to the Pacific just really
wine
west,
country.
southwest, I guess. Yeah.
Well,
So
Northern California.
southish west. Yeah, not
So
really south, but yeah,
yeah,
definitely a different atmosphere. That, by the way, Seattle was freaking fast. That was a
I
fast
didn't
track.
yeah I didn't catch it, but
Which one was it? Let me look. It was the funny car. I want to say round one. And Austin, no, it might have been in the qualifying. Austin Prock. Oh no, it was this one? Austin Prock had a 383 in funny car. And then there was a top fuel that they topped out at 337 miles an hour. So that was definitely fast. I think it set a Seattle record.
okay, cool.
All right, well, talk about Sonoma and what they we can look forward to in that race before they go on a little bit of a break.
Well, Sonoma, it's all part of the road course. When we talked about Sonoma and NASCAR. If you watch a NASCAR race, you will see the drag strip going down. It's right around that final hairpin turns, like the start finish line of the drag strip and everything. So it's kind of a cool, neat track, just up there in wine country. With the rolling hills and everything. It's pretty cool. It's another fast track, and NHRA does a real good job anymore with whatever advances they've had in track preparation. You don't see many bad tracks. Occasionally a lane might have an extra bump in it or something, but not too many years ago, if you weren't in a certain lane, you were probably going to lose unless somebody really screwed up. Now the lanes are even, the track's fast. They just don't seem to have much trouble. It's probably going to be, well, you would think Northern California is probably not going to be super hot. Humidity is probably going to be low. So I expect another super fast track on this one.
Yeah, you think about it, you think California is going to be hotter and drier conditions, but yeah, actually the way Sonoma's located, it might be pretty similar to Seattle.
Yeah.
So it could be, yeah, another fast with all of them. They've all been the Top Fuel and Funny Car were especially fast. They were setting track records. I think Saturday in qualifying too. Well, it's time to give our picks for NHRA. All four series are back here, and for Pro Stock Motorcycle, you could pick who you want. I thought about maybe picking somebody else, but I'm still not going to. I'm going to go Gage Herrera. Uh, Pro Stock, he just came up short. I picked him last week. I'm picking him again this week. I got Dallas Glenn. Funny Car, he was another fast one in Seattle. I've got Bob Tasca, and in Top Fuel, I've got Antron Brown.
Okay. We have a complete, well,
Besides Gage,
yeah, I got Gage. He's not going to lose two in a row.
that's what I thought.
So Pro Stock, this guy was on fire a little bit ago. See how it happens. I don't think I've ever picked him before. So I have Aaron Stanfield for Pro Stock car. Funny car coming back from a huge explosion and a crash
Oh
last
yeah,
week in Seattle. Ron Capps gets the win this week.
that was a scary one.
And Top Fuel, I think he's the point leader. I'm not sure. Last year's champion, Doug Coletta.
All right, I picked Doug last week, and he came a little bit short. A couple people came short for me, so we'll see how it goes for NHRA. IndyCar recap. The only thing you really need to
Colton
recap
Herta
on
kind of
this,
stunk that whole thing up.
yeah, Colton Hurd stunk up the whole weekend. He
Yep.
was fast all weekend. It's one of those I keep forgetting about him, and all of a
Well, he don't
sudden
normally do much, and all of a sudden he gets the pole, leads every practice
now
session.
now he's in talk. He could possibly be in the championship
Yeah.
contention now. So it's amazing how quickly 1 week can make an Indy car, how much ground you can make up. The favorite still is Alex Palou, but you still can't count out 6 time. You can't count out Scott Dixon. You can't count out Joseph Newgarden. Add Colton Herta
any of
into
the
it.
Penske, any of the
Pato
Penske's you can't
Award,
count.
you can add him into it too. it's it'll be a fun finish. They finish, I think, in September, like the second or third week in September, which that's about what NASCAR should do. But they don't need to go until November. But all right, well, that's really all for IndyCar. That was a huge segment there on that one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's not the preview. All right, the biggest thing this week is sprint car action. The biggest thing really is Outlaws versus Posse once again in Pennsylvania. High
And
limit is
unfortunately, that's not the rivalry it used to be. They just
no, but it's still
Pennsylvania.
fun to
Yeah,
it'll probably
Pennsylvania.
be the thumbnail
They
or the
just don't
title
have
of this.
the teams anymore to compete against the Outlaws.
No, but yeah, I mean, you can. I guess you can just put Macri and Marks as the a technical maybe for
Yeah,
Posse, and
you got to realize, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago, you had Donnie Kreitz, Freddie Raymer, Lance Deweese, Keith
yeah.
Kaufman. I mean, I mean, I know there's more I'm not thinking of. Those guys were tough to beat at the home track. Now, yeah, I mean, if you want to call Macri's probably the fastest local guy.
If you want to call him local, even though
Freddie
he's high
Raymer
limit.
is not hasn't been as fast as I thought he would be this year.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll
But
get that.
anything can happen. You just get the right draw, time trial just right.
Well, we'll get that in a second. But high limits at Lernerville as we're recording this tonight. So we can dive into that, dive into Lernerville, and you'll see a lot of high limit guys go into Pennsylvania this week. It's not that big of a drive for them to just already on the East
Sheldon
Coast.
Hoddenshield's running Lernerville tonight.
Okay, all right, another outlaw. I think you might see a couple outlaws there then. Uh, and Sheldon once again had some bad luck at Eldora, but
He
uh,
didn't have bad luck the night I picked him though. So
well,
that Sheldon, that wasn't on me.
let's just say that entire week of Eldora might have been the best racing I have seen at Eldora in a long time. Consistently Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, the racer was great.
Amazing racing. And guess what? I got my damn King's Royal right. Yeah.
Yeah, you
King
sure
David, the
did.
41st, David Gravel finally gets his 40 or 47th. One of the two. I might have
David Gravel has that car has been fast lately.
it just rolls through the corner so nicely, and it just he just got a great handle on it. It kind of looks like how Brad Sweet has a great handle on his car compared to a lot of
If
people. That thing
Donnie
is
Schatz could just qualify,
yeah, because he just randomly will start 28th or something.
yeah, I
They don't
mean he
have
was the
28
show. I
cars, but
mean, you don't pass
he
that
was
many cars at Eldora.
that
He
was a
did.
hell of a race. That was all of the races were
That's
amazing.
when the track gets nice. You can be tight on the bottom, or I mean, banging it off the wall, and
Well,
they
gravel and shots were the only ones that could really run the bottom like that, and that's
yep.
why they finished 1-2 at the King's Royal. And it was whoever ran the bottom had the advantage in the entire week, and it was awesome. I just I thoroughly enjoyed those.
Yeah,
That's
that would have been a whole good sequence to go to. All four of those races, that would have been
been
a fun
dirty as
trip.
hell.
Yeah, I know when we sat underneath that scoreboard that time and we saw shots of it, and I saw people standing there, I was like, man, you guys are going to get freaking pelted.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially with all the entire week of the sprint cars were there. That track got
Oh
really
yeah,
slick. Track got really slick, but it was a great racing surface, and I knew it was going to be. With
yeah.
Tony takes
Slick
pride in
don't
that.
mean bad. I mean, usually it means better racing.
Yeah, fantastic racing. High Limit had $100,000 race as well. I didn't realize they had that big payout, so that was awesome. I guess you can. I don't think it was technically a midweek money series, but it was good that they had that. Outlaws have been awesome. It's been a lot of. That was
Yeah,
probably the best week of sprint car
the
racing.
Outlaws kind of whooped the high limit guys this week at Eldora though.
They were looking good. Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were pretty good. High limit at Lernerville. Then, just talk about Lernerville real quick. The no wall and
No,
fence
yeah,
on the for
yeah.
one and two.
The
That's
only
what it's known
the
for.
only fence is down the front stretch and a little bit by the pit thing. We know about hitting the one by the pit. They said you can't do it, Craig. But yeah, Lernerville, neat, fun, fast little track. I guess they probably consider it a 3/8 mile. It's got pretty good bank. Like there's no guardrail, so you get off, you just keep your foot in and drive her back onto the track. Um, you're not going to see a whole lot of the Central Pennsylvania guys go out there. Might see Dietrich out there. I'm sure Macri, Marks.
Well, Macri's he full time.
Yeah.
So it's Mark.
Well, and Marks, but like I said, Maybe Danny Dietrich might go out. I can't think of really any other team that might go out.
No.
But yeah, unfortunately, this whole the outlaw swing is going to be a little on the one side at this time, I think. Although the high limit guys are probably going to be running Williams Grove, that might make it a little more interesting.
Well, let's get into yeah. Well, let's get into our pick for high limit. The only high limit race this week. It's the money midweek money series, and they're off until August too. So everybody's got a big break right now.
Yeah.
Uh, I was going to pick Larson, but apparently he's not racing tonight. So my pick for tonight is Corey Day.
Okay,
Because
that's a good
why
pick.
wouldn't he just go into Lernerville and win?
Sure. Midweek money. This guy seems to take most of them. I got Larson's brother-in-law, Brad Sweet.
All right. That doesn't mean Larson won't be there. He's just not racing. He's
Yeah,
I said
it didn't. I didn't see his. I didn't see the name on the time trial list.
I say
So
he's just not in any condition to race right now. So all right, Outlaws. They have a busy week up in Pennsylvania. They start off at Susky, well, Baps now
Babs.
it's known, and then they go to the Grove Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday they head to New York and go to Weed Sport. So busy week for Outlaws. Talk about Susky. We've won there before. I don't
Yeah.
know if they still did the sub. Don't think they do because that was awesome. If you ever want to learn how to cut a sub with a hacksaw, we got you guys because that's the
You
only thing
know,
we had
sometimes you got
in
to
a
make
parking
do with
lot
what you got.
full of tomatoes. But yeah, Outlaws at Baps. What can you expect the Outlaws to bring here?
Well, the one thing about the I can't help it. I call it Susky.
It
You
is.
know, it's a big 3/8 mile. You know, Lincoln's 3/8. Susky's a little bit bigger. It's a big 3/8. Red clay going to stain everything. It's aluminum in the whole damn thing.
Hmm.
Uh, Fun track. They've been putting a lot of money into the thing and working on track service. I do expect it to get pretty slick there, but most of the Pennsylvania cars are going to be running that. They're going to come to Susky. I don't think the 69K is probably running
I don't
Susky.
think they don't usually race Susky. This is kind of a Lance track. I bet Lance races.
Oh yeah. Lance is very good here. Bobby Allen's cars are always good at Susky. They're always fast there. You know, Pennsylvania cars.
Yeah.
I think you'll probably see most of the high limit guys running. But for the pick, I do have a like I said, I think it's going to be slick. And this guy's been just, if he qualifies, look out. So I got Donnie Schatz for my Susky pick.
All right. Well, we don't have the same one, but you might not pick this guy this week because you always jinx him. I've got Sheldon Hodenshield for Susky.
Yeah, I didn't pick him any. You're welcome, Sheldon.
And I don't actually have a complete sweep I don't have any Posse per se, but I don't have a
I don't
complete
either.
sweep. The Grove night one. First of all, talk about the Grove when you were up there, what you kind of saw and maybe we'll kind of see this weekend.
When I was up there, the track sucked.
Good.
It was one lane, the cushion, and the problem was they didn't have enough cars running. They didn't have like 358s, 305s to push the cushion up. The cushion never went up past halfway. There was just no passing. I mean, the track prep was actually not good. There was a big hole going into turn three. I love Williams Grove. They're lacking on track prep.
And they've
So
been doing the last
do
few
have the
weeks.
shot, you know, and Williams Grove, you don't know, big, large half mile, real long straightaways, super tight turn. So it's not a real fast half mile. Or they
Paperclip.
are going about 140 mile an hour down the straightaway. So
Yeah, that's a paperclip.
yeah. So if you're familiar with Martinsville, throw dirt on it. You got Williams Grove.
Give or take.
Yeah, and
Turns
you know the
one and
iconic
two.
they
Turns
have
one
the
and
bridge.
two.
This is the old bridge that's on here. The new one they raised about another 10, 15 feet, which it's actually is a lot of steps going up to that bridge. So they definitely raised that up. The
Yeah, those
people
Beer
haven't
Hill
been to the
guys are
bridge, Eric.
struggling. You know. Yeah, one and two is definitely different than three and four. The best person that's ever gotten through three and four at a consistent basis has been Lance DeWeese. He's the all-time winner at Williams Grove. So,
Yeah.
if he can qualify well, he'll definitely be one of the PA guys to have a chance in this. But that's all about qualifying good. And Outlaws may or may
And that
not have
starts with
this.
the draw you get. You got to get
Yeah,
a good
well,
time trial
It
going.
seems like Outlaws may or may not have a play in a little draw. So we'll see how that happens. But well, if it sucks night one, maybe night two end up being a good night if they can
It
race
could very
both.
well. I think night two will be a better race. I think it's going to push the cushion up
If
more.
Mother
I
Nature
don't think it's
doesn't.
anything but sprint cars. So,
Yeah.
and they're going to have a lot of them. They're going to have more than 24. So,
Well, give your picks. Night one, night two.
so night one, not a Pennsylvania guy, but from Pennsylvania. I got Logan Schuchart. Night one always runs good at Williams Grove. Saturday night for the whatever they call it, the Summer Nationals. He's the hottest sprint car driver right now. David Gravel.
Well, the Grove night one, I've got one of the, I guess, former PA Posse guys now, but it will be a big time favorite for PA, and they'll be pretty happy with this if it happens. Brent Marks is my pick for the Grove night one. And night two, I expect the track, if they get to a night two or one or the other night.
Yeah, it'll probably rain one of
Who
them.
knows how Mother Nature goes. But this guy, he's got the most experience besides PA Posse guys here. It's hard to go against him. I have to pick him in one of these races this week. I've got Donnie Schatz.
Okay. Yeah, it wouldn't be a big surprise.
No, nope. The final race that Outlaws have this weekend is Weed Sport.
Yeah.
Talk about this track. I think it was a different name before, and Glenn Clark actually said he used to race here before it was actually called Weed Sport.
I think it was always been called Weed Sport. But okay, it's up in New York, modified country. So this is where you get the real wide tracks for the big flying dumpsters that go around these things. And I don't remember if the high limit, I didn't check it. I don't remember if high limit ran there earlier than the year.
But I think they did, or they were scheduled to.
Yeah, the New York tracks they ran, I don't know. New York was afraid to get the water truck out. It was so dusty you could not see. I expect that. I expect it to be a very dusty, and it don't mean it's going to be a bad race. You might not be able to see it.
Yeah,
but it's probably going to. It's probably going to. The track's so wide. There's definitely going to be multiple grooves. It could very well come down to where it starts taking rubber. The tracks up there seem to do that. But my pick on this one, he gets two in a row this weekend. I got David Gravel.
Every one of my picks this weekend's been different, so why not just stick with it? I've got one that he could race on these little dusty, slick tracks, and he can race really anywhere. I got Carson Macedo on this one.
Okay, it's been a while since he's been struggling a little bit.
Yeah, well, let's hopefully maybe not.
I mean, any given day, those guys are professionals. Yeah. They come out and win something.
For sure. Well, I think that wraps it up this week, and we'll be back in action next week to talk about all the dirt racing. NASCAR's off, so it'll be a little bit shorter shows. Not a bad thing. We might have some fun little top fives again. We've got to work on some stuff there. We might send it out on the social media stuff, so follow all that stuff, Instagram, Facebook, all that fun, whatever. And then anywhere you get your podcast, definitely check out the YouTube channel. Definitely I lacked on the memes this week. I forgot. I'm sorry. I might have to throw a meme in tonight, then I have to make a good one. I'm sure I'll figure out something. All right, well, until next week, guys, we will see you then.
All right, bye everybody.